Our meat is browned slightly, so we're gonna add our onion. Okay, so I'm here with my two sons in their apartment in Calgary, and they desperately need to cook at home. So this is a lesson for them to be able to do their own beef stew. And this one is a specific one, Enquiries, the mixture of vegetables, kale, and beef. And then I will teach them how to cook Sadza. So boys, there's no excuse to starve. There is no excuse to be eating out every day. That money that you're spending eating out every day, I can use it. So let's start the lesson. We have the pot for Sadza and the pot for the beef. We have our ingredients here. We have the beef, the kale, tomatoes, and onion. And let's start the preparation. So we want to get our meat prepped, and then we have it going. This is easy meat. We have these are choice ribs and short ribs that we're just gonna use. Stewing beef is perfect for doing this. Love the stewing beef when it has bones. The bones bring out the flavor, and this is why we went for the short ribs. So we're gonna cut those. Hopefully these young men have a board to bite-sized pieces. And then we'll get our little bit of oil into the pan and get this meat to start browning just a little bit. And if you're lazy, you don't even need it to brown. So a little bit of olive oil just to cover the base of the pan. Not much really. I have olive oil, just enough to cover a little bit of the pan. And then we can get our plate on the stove, get it on, heat the oil a little. And then we can prepare the onion. Prepare the onion. Cut these ends off. So, cut the onion. You can put as much onion as you want or as little. So I used a whole onion here. Once the oil has heated up, we are going to add the meat. We add the meat to the pot. While this is browning, we can prepare the tomatoes and the vegetables. So add a little bit of salt. If you don't want to add tomato, you can just do the Enquiries without tomato, but I'll add some tomato. I'll just fry the onion a little bit and then add the tomato. All right. So the onion, smells good. Onion is nice and brown. We add the tomato. And like I said, if you don't want to add tomato, Enquiries still works without tomato. I'll put a little bit of water. And let this simmer. The vegetables are the last thing to go in the pot. Okay, cut the vegetables. These are bachelors without a cutting board. We got to do something about that, guys. We'll finish off cutting the vegetables. And like I said, they're the last thing to go in the pot when the meat is almost cooked. So just put them aside. They're washed already and just waiting because you don't want to overcook your vegetables. So I wait until the very last when the meat is completely ready. So just keep them on the side. When the meat is done, then you can add the vegetables. So we're just waiting. So now the vegetables have been added. And let's see how it looks. Oh, that is beautiful. And it smells wonderful. So we will be cooking the sadza shortly. So we're going to prepare the sadza now. Now, I'm here in Murika. No, this is Canada. It's very difficult to find white cornmeal. So you guys will have to make a choice. Whether you want the yellow sadza. This is the yellow sadza, and this is the white one.
White sadza.
You want white? Okay, Papa over there says he wants white. So it's basically the same. This is like from sweet corn, and this is from the white corn. We in Zimbabwe use the white corn.
Oh, okay.
Not too many people like using. In fact, you don't even see the yellow corn.
Really?
I actually have gotten to like the yellow cornmeal. To be honest, I really like it.
Do you like it better?
I think I like it better.
Interesting.
Yeah. But we're gonna do the white one.
Okay.
So I have my water. It's already boiled. This is called mugoti. Mugoti in Shona, upini in Ndebele. This is a wooden spoon that we use to cook the sadza, right? And I have two sizes. Because our pot is small, I'm going to use the smaller size. So there's two ways to start. You make a paste, right? And that paste is what we're going to use to make the base for the sadza. Two ways of doing it. You can add the cornmeal to a bowl. Just put cold water and make a smooth paste with this. That's the first thing. That's the easy one. That's the easy way.
What's the hard way?
The hard way, it's actually not hard, but you have to, the difference with this method and the other way is you'd have to be by the stove before the water boils. You add the dry cornmeal there and you continue to
Because otherwise it
whisk.
gets lumpy.
It will get lumpy,
Right.
and it will also get it will get lumpy basically. So you'd have to continue whisking it until it starts to boil. It's this method of doing the cold cornmeal is like when you use cornstarch.
Okay, yes, yeah.
If you're going to use cornstarch or flour to make a roux or a paste, if you do not continue to mix, or if you start with a mix and the pot is already high heat, it is definitely going to give you lumps.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. So this is the easier way. If your water has boiled like ours, we just here's the cornmeal and water. Now I'm gonna add it to the boiling water. I don't know if you can see. Okay, so again, you continue to stir until it starts to boil, because if you don't, the cornmeal is going to settle at the bottom. And then once it boils, we leave it to boil for about 5 minutes. That way the cornmeal cooks. If it doesn't cook, I know when the sadza is not cooked. I can taste it. If you don't know, maybe you might not even know the difference.
Yeah.
But I can tell that this cornmeal did not boil enough. So we just, continue to stir, and then, actually I could actually cheat a little bit, because this is not, if it's not thick enough, you just add more of the cornmeal and the water and the paste to the pot. But I'm going to cheat a little bit. Let's see if that will not give me the, can you help, please?
Sure.
Just pour. So this is the other method that I was talking about, and it's working. Okay, I think that's enough. Well, it seemed to have worked. Maybe because the water is now not as hot as it was at the beginning, or this cornmeal does not. But if you do that with the cornmeal in Zimbabwe, you will definitely have lumps. Anyway, if you observe closely, you can see that it starts to thicken. So if you have too much cornmeal in there, it makes a real thick paste, and it doesn't bubble very well. It doesn't boil.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So
Have you ever had this thing called cream of wheat?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is like cream of wheat.
It seems very similar to that.
It's very similar. You're so right. It is similar to cream of wheat. Very, very similar. But cream of wheat is wheat.
Yeah.
So the consistency, so if you run out, like, I used to do it, they would never know when they were young. If say I am at home and this is the cornmeal that I have, and I have a big pot to cook, and I know I have the cream of wheat in there, I'll just mix and cook. Yeah, but we generally use just cornmeal to do that. And I don't know if you can see the consistency, it's getting thicker.
Yeah.
So you have to, I don't know how to teach this part, but this is what I call the eye measure. As you can see, I didn't use any measurement.
Yeah.
It's like you get used to the size of your pot, the amount of water, and you know what's the ratio of the cornmeal and the water that you need. Like I was telling you, if I had put too much cornmeal, at this point, this would not be boiling. You would not see it starting to boil, because it would have really made a big solid piece of sadza. But if you can see,
it's
you
bubbling.
just be careful. It is beginning to bubble. And at this point, we're just gonna cover the pot and leave it for 5-7 minutes, and then we finish off the cooking. So this is it to cooking sadza. There's so many variations of cooking sadza. You can have this cornmeal is fermented. So there is in I think it's Ghana or Togo, they prepare what is called kenke, and it's the same thing. It's cornmeal, but they do it differently. Their cornmeal is fermented. I love the taste. Sadza and muriwo, that is called haifirids. The history behind it is, I guess it was cooked in haifirids. There's my other son who ran away. So he's the one who's
missing
going
the tutorial.
to... Now, my son, there he is. He's coming. He's the one who's going to Mona. He's going to do the final cooking. Huh?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, so, this is what I want to do. So it can continue to boil, but reduce the heat a little bit. 5-7 minutes, then we'll finish off. Okay. And then you can see the final part. Right, son, check the ifirids.
Nice.
Yeah. The goods. The taste of home. Hey, we've been waiting for this one for a long time.
Well, today is the day.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your house.
So let's see.
Get over the garbage.
So, last bit of the. Come on, Kylie, bring a pickle. Okay, so this is the final stage of cooking our sadza. Now we're gonna make it thick. All right, so you add the cornmeal. And here again, it's the same thing. You wanna make sure you add enough to get a thick paste. Sadza is thicker than mashed potatoes. Yeah. So this is what I continuously do so that we don't have my periods, the lumps. Yeah. So you keep adding and you will see it get thicker and thicker. And again, it's I measure. I don't know how much I add. I cannot quantify it, but I just continue to check the consistency because we use our hands to eat it. Now, for you to be able to eat it, you should be able to put it in your hand.
Right.
Yeah.
So even though, because it was like the other stuff had been boiling for a while, so this stuff won't taste uncooked when you put it in after?
No.
Remember how you were saying that it tasted?
Yes, you're right. But what we'll do once we finish thickening it, I'm gonna leave it for another 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yes. And that makes the whole process complete. We don't dish it right away once we finish. I still have to leave it for another 3 to 5 minutes, and then we can then dish. Yeah.
You know, like that like bread type stuff that you eat with like Somalian food, and you kind of use it as like
injera.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
use it as like a tool to like pick up other
Yeah.
stuff. So you need to be able to like have the consistency to squish,
Yeah.
and you use it to like
Interesting.
scoop up the other sauces and the meat and the goods.
So
All the goods.
I was trying to explain to Kylie that, I think Zimbo's, let me know if I'm explaining it right. I believe the idea of doing Enquiries, if you have a big family and you have 5 pieces of meat, you want to make sure everybody that day has a flavor of meat. So you mix the vegetables with the meat. So the little ones, the watotos, if they end up just sniffing the meat a little bit, that's good enough. They can't say they didn't eat sadza with meat. But Highfields, actually, it's a town called Highfields. And I think because this type of cooking is predominantly us in the townships, and Highfields is one of the oldest townships in Harare. And everybody used to cook it this way. So this is the consistency that I like, right? If I make it any thicker than this, that is what you would find the construction workers eating. And they like it thick because then they're full.
Also.
Now for us to just make sure it's thoroughly cooked, the heat is reduced, and then we simmer it for another 5 minutes, and then we're gonna dish.
Okay.
And then enjoy the sadza. So another 5 minutes of waiting, and then we'll be ready to eat.
What's that thing when sometimes when they're dishing, like they put water on it or something?
I will show you the way we dish the sadza. So this is ready for dishing. So I'm gonna just use this to dish. And there's some water in here. The water allows the sadza not to stick to the spoon. So I'll give it one last mix.
Lavish. Absolutely lavish.
And then I take a scoop. And there we go.
Wow.
So these pieces can be as large or as small as you would like them to be. Normally we would make them large so that you just come and get one big piece and you're out. It's a good way to save money if you have some of your meals at home. I'm not saying you guys should not spoil yourself and have a lazy day when you're not cooking, but if you want to save money, and this is what kayasgogo, his mom, his grandmother should be teaching you. It's okay to spoil yourselves, but it's also good practice to make your own meals.
It is.
Because these young men have limited dishes, we are going to be dishing straight from the pot. So I'm going to prepare my plate. There we go. And I'll show you. Then we can sit and you all can salivate while we're eating. This is the famous hybrids. This is the famous hybrids. I like the greens. So there we go. And I like a little bit of this sauce. This is the famous trinity. The meat, the greens, and the pap or sadza or whatever it's called, kenke. So bon appetit. So here we go. We are eating our sadza. Don't be jealous, guys. And this is the perfect way of doing it because most families, most households in Zimbabwe, in the kumarogation, in the ghetto, they don't have dinner tables. So they just do exactly what we're doing, and even sometimes sitting on the floor. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's the way people live, and it is just fine.